Some dishes require a long list of ingredients and hours of work. But this dish is proof that you don't need all that to make something incredibly tasty. All it takes is a handful of ingredients, a hot pan, and about 15 minutes. And this is the exact kind of meal my mom would make for me when I was a kid. And the smell of the pork belly and garlic hitting the hot oil basically sums up my childhood in one breath. And like most Asian moms, she never measured anything, just threw a bunch of things together, and somehow it always turned out delicious. This is a stir-fried garlic pork belly, and today we'll break it down step by step with measurements so you can recreate it at home. Alright y'all, remember to wash your hands. Now first I have 2 pounds of a center cut skin on pork belly that we'll cut into thin pieces. And my mom always told me that if you're struggling to cut meat thinly and evenly, the best thing to do is first make sure you have a sharp knife, and then secondly, you can always throw your pork in the freezer for an hour or two before slicing to firm it up, making it easier to manage and cut through. Now we'll get our thinly sliced pork belly into a big mixing bowl, and then we'll season it with 1 tablespoon of my dear mom fish sauce. Add in half a tablespoon of chicken bouillon, a pinch of white pepper, and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, which will help tenderize the pork just a little bit, but it'll mainly create a little starchy coating that'll help the seasoning cling to the pork belly a little bit better. Give that a good mix, and then to that, I'm gonna add in 15 whole garlic cloves. And I know that sounds like an excessive amount, but eating whole garlic cloves when they're cooked is so good to me, and you'll just have to trust me on that one. We're gonna let this vibe out for 5 minutes in the fridge while we prep the rest of our ingredients and the sauce to pair along with it. Now for a little bit of health and freshness to cut all the fatty richness of the pork belly, I'm gonna serve it up with some cucumbers. So we'll get that sliced up on a slight bias, and then I'll stack a few of them up before cutting it into thin strips. Now you already know, anytime we have cucumbers, we have to pay the cucumber tax. Now to make the soy garlic sauce, we're going to combine 2 tablespoons of soy sauce with 1 tablespoon of water and 1 tablespoon of vinegar. To that, we'll add in half a tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, and a couple of chopped Thai chilies. Give that a good mix until the sugar is fully dissolved. And if you like this recipe and you want to learn how to make more of your favorite Asian dishes, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications to stay up to date on all my latest posts. And then it's time to put it all together. Now to a hot pan, we'll add a splash of oil, and then we'll drop in our garlic pork belly in an even layer. We're gonna let this pork belly sit for a minute or two without touching it so that the pork belly can sear and pick up some color. After that, we'll continue to stir fry the pork belly for another 4 to 5 minutes or until the pork belly is golden and cooked through. Now we're coming to the end of this recipe, but dishes just like this one often ended up on my family's kitchen table alongside a simple gun and some veggies. My family and I were all first-generation immigrants with very limited means early on, so my parents were always working long hours, doing labor-intensive or menial jobs. My mom didn't have a ton of time or energy to cook super fancy or complicated meals during the week, and her main goal was to make something tasty that was quick and easy to cook. And I think maybe that's a big reason why I love food and cooking so much today, because like most Vietnamese moms, she never said I love you out loud, but she always showed it through acts of service by making sure that we are all well fed. And now that I'm much older though, I've made it a habit of telling my parents I love them every time I see them. And over the years, they've definitely softened up and both say I love you pretty regularly now. With all that said, and the pork belly is cooked through, it's time to plate. Now first we'll get some white rice down to our bowl. We'll add some of the cucumbers for health, and then the garlic pork belly right on top. We'll finish with some of the soy garlic sauce from earlier and a sprig of cilantro for a garnish. And just like that, you've made an incredible stir-fried garlic pork belly in about 15 minutes at home. As always, the principal recipe is available on my blog for free at feedthepudge.com. And if you've learned something new today or just enjoyed this video, I post short form content nearly every single day and long form videos just like this one every single week. So make sure you subscribe to catch my newest videos. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.